Alright folks, I'm back underneath the cab of the chopper, and down there you can probably see where we took some brackets off around this shaft. There's one bolt hole there, and then there's a couple more. The brackets we took off were up here. They run through here onto a bearing cap. They also run through this here. I'll show you the bearing cap in a little bit. But anyway, the bearing for this went out. This runs the blower. Basically a giant, it spins and it turns a bunch of actually I might be able to show you. No, not really. But it turns a wheel in there that has a bunch of little, it turns a wheel. It's kind of like a windmill in there, but for blowing. What's a better way to describe it? I'll think of something else, but anyway, it turns this shaft, and that turns... Oh. So that shaft turns some paddles inside here that blow the feed up this pipe. Not the feed, this corn silage. It blows it up this pipe and into the spout. Choppers are actually pretty simple when you think about it. This is the blower, it blows the feed through there. I'm sitting on some shields that run the silage from inside. Here is the feeder house, where it actually chops up the feed, the stalks, and the rest of the stalk, like ears, everything. Gets all chopped up in here. It gets fed through this shield and then up over into the blower. So that's how you get from the head just out there into the feeder house underneath me, into the blower, up the pipe. Fairly simple machine when you think about it. Anyway, I'll climb out of here and show you the bearing, or what's left of it. So here you guys go, this is the bearing. You can see where it rubbed whenever it stopped or whatever happened. Yeah, something isn't in there isn't right, because you should be able to turn this. So yeah, my grandparents are on their way to pick up parts right now. But that is why we stopped chopping early and covered the pile a little sooner than we would have liked to. But it is what it is. There's bad weather, rainy weather coming, so we had to cover the pile. Alright folks, we got the new bearing case. So this goes, first we put that plate on, then we slide this onto the shaft. Tail's going to be on the outside, I'm going to be on the inside, putting the brackets and bolts back into place with the help of tail on the outside, getting everything lined up. So the grease zert goes on that little divot.
Lined up with it. Not that matters right now because I gotta jack it up.
Go ahead and jack it up. So we're jacking the... I forgot what it's called, the
Metal bar rod.
There's a word for it. Now I'm trying to think about it. I can't think about it, but we're jacking it up so it's a little more centered so we can get the bolts put through. I'll get a bolt and put it through there. So, Tal and I have to line this bracket up with one of the holes down there. We're going to start with the bottom one because the top bracket is a little more complicated. Welcome back to the live feed of underneath the chopper cab. Currently waiting for Tal to get apart, so I'm just hanging out underneath the chopper cab. We've got a nice chain that can lower if we needed for, say, pull up a kernel processor. That's what the chain is for, but there's not a kernel processor in here anymore. Someone took it out yesterday, huh? Nice view of the shop from underneath the chopper cab. Got hydraulic controls, all sorts of stuff up there. But yeah, this is where I'm hanging out. Hope you're all having a good day. Alright, we got the brackets back on. The only thing left on this side is this bolt that just holds... I think it just holds this in place, but I really don't know. But that's the way I found it, so I gotta tighten it up. But those brackets help hold these bolts in place that run through this plate into the bearing casing. I just finished tapping the bearing in. You just take a hammer and tap each side back and forth, 1 or 2 taps at a time, to get it in place. And hopefully we did it right, because getting this out was going to be a big pain in the butt. We'll probably have to take the whole bearing case off again, and then get the bearing out. So hopefully we put it in right. Almost done. So we have the new belts from this, hanging from this bungee. They run under here and around a bigger wheel. I got them around the bigger wheel first, but now we just have them holding here. We gotta use the pulley system to pull up the processor that I'm halfway sitting on. We bring it up to about up in this cavity so we can slip the belts around it. Then we lower it, and that locks the belts into place. It's gonna be a big pain in the butt, so wish me luck.